Hello and welcome to Julie's Unknown podcast. This is episode 5 and an unplanned episode, but I wanted to actually talk about this topic because when things happen in my life and things come up, I'm like, oh my God, would be such a good thing to talk about. And so instead of sharing it on my stories on Instagram, I figured to do a podcast about it because I am gearing more towards showing up on my podcast more so than social media. It is what feels aligned right now and what feels right for me. And so today, what I want to talk about is manifestations and what's the rush for wanting the things we want? Why do we want them so quickly? Why do we need to have them happen right now? And I'm going to start off with a little story about myself. So there was a period, if you looked at, if you have listened to any of the past episodes, that I was without a home for a certain period of time while living in Tofino. And you can go back to it's season 1, I believe you can go back to that season and listen to that episode of what transpired during that time. But also around that time is when I actually did not have any money. So I was completely broke as well. And while building this business, even before that had happened, when I moved to Tofino, I was living very much on a budget. I didn't have much income coming in. So learning my relationship with money and learning what it means to have money in, how to spend and how to save and how to navigate it, but then also like, how do I feel with it? And also learning that I am abundant and that money doesn't necessarily always mean abundance. Abundance comes in many other forms. So there was a lot of lessons that I learned through this period of time with money, from being in a place of not having it at all, having a little bit of it, having enough just to make ends meet, having more than enough. Because before this period, I've always had stable jobs. I've worked in an office, I've worked in the restaurant industry, and I always knew a paycheck was coming. I knew approximately how much was coming in, and I was able to budget. And every time I would buy something like that I desired, it was like, okay, do I have the money? Can I buy this? And but oh, I know that there's going to be money coming in 2 weeks from now from that paycheck. So a lot of the things that I wanted, I got. And the things that were bigger expenses, like I would either save for them and make that intention of saving for them, or I would put it on the credit card. Now, fast forward to being in a place where that level of income and also that stability of income was not happening, especially running my business and learning what it means to be an entrepreneur, that there's some months that you have amazing months and then other months not so much. And there's been a lot of lessons, and still to this day, a lot of lessons learning about my relationship with money. So it's an ongoing process, and my relationship with abundance. And one thing that I learned through this, which is going to be the main focus of this episode, is manifestation. Manifestation, things you desire, and having them come to your life, specifically, like not so much opportunities, or what's called, like not so much like opportunities or like people in your life. Like I'm going to talk about like more manifesting like physical objects that you desire in your life, right? We all have a list of things we want. We all have like that barbecue we would like to have, that new snowboard, surfboard, or the laptop, or that really nice shampoo that we love to use. It could be those these nail polishes, small little things like that, like a tarot deck that we always desired. And a lot of times, we end up getting that for ourselves. We're like, oh, I want this. Like, oh, this top is cute. Like, okay, got the money. Like, let's buy it, and boom, get it instantly. And when that happens, we are not leaving room for things to come to us in another way. We're not leaving room for things to manifest into our world without us actually not necessarily buying them. And we always think that, in order to get this one thing, like if we want this rubber ducky, we need to buy it. But that rubber ducky can be gifted. And I know that there's sometimes like some people who are like, oh, as in couples that I've heard that, oh, we don't buy each other Christmas gifts or birthday gifts because we figured to spend our money on like a trip or an excursion, which is all good, but that's because their reasoning is that, well, my partner already gets what they want. And so you're like, oh, I want it, I'm going to buy it. So why? Why is that? Why is it that the minute we want something, we need to have it right away, and then we go and we get it right away? Like, yes, we have the money, but what is the reason underlying of the things that you want in your life? Like the things of the materialistic objects. Why do you want that table? Why do you want that, Lululemon top? Why do you want those makeup? And yes, there are certain things that there is a urgency to get it in a specific time frame. But then what if you would wait? What if you would take that moment and just pause and wait and see how else can it appear in your world? And I've had this happen many times because I was in a place that I couldn't afford like buying, a juicer or buying these like fancy crackers I loved. I then started creating this list on my phone of things I desire to have. Time I see something and I'm like, oh, I would love to have that. Like, oh, ceremonial cacao, like that is like, a luxury, item to get. Or, a juicer, or it could be like these Nike shoes, or it could be these socks from Lululemon, like all these things. And I have this list because I am somebody who likes things very specific. And I know what I like, and I like certain brands, and I like certain products, and I'm very specific in that. Not everybody is, and that's just who I am. But I create this list on my phone. And then what I do is I surrender to it. I don't always get it right away unless I know there's a sense of urgency, but I surrender to it. And the amount of times that I've received something either at a much lower price than what initially I thought it would be, or actually receive it for free, or sometimes an exchange of a service, like offering my tarot readings or Reiki energy healing in turn as an exchange, and then receiving that. Like I've lost track of how much this has happened to me because I decided to put in this place of surrender. And I was like on the way, on the way back home, I was thinking about this and I'm like, why do we need everything so suddenly? And we do live in a very fast-paced society. We do live in a very instant gratification society. And I think that does come into play, right? That, you want something from Amazon, you order it, you get it within 2 days. You see something like on Instagram and, like the satisfaction of it, of wanting it right away. Everything is so instant. Everything is so quick, but is that actually benefiting us? Like, yes, in some cases, yeah, it's great that you can order something and get it at your doorstep in 24 hours. Amazing, especially when there's something of urgency. But is it really, really good for us? Because we're not slowing down, we're not taking that moment to step back and allow things to come in a different way, allow someone to gift us something, right? Gift giving is one of the 5 love languages, and there are people that love to gift give. Like I know various people, especially my family, love giving gifts. Like my mom asks me every year for a Christmas list because that's her thing. That's her love language and how she shows it. I love to show it as well. I love giving gifts. Like I love getting creative of like, oh, what does this person want? And how can I get it in different ways? And I remember when I used to work at Chapters and like I would find gifts for people. I'm like, oh my God, this person would love this. I should get them. And but then it's like if that person or if everybody just got what they wanted all the time, like if the whole world were like bajillionaires, like if everybody on this planet were rich and they were able to get everything they wanted all the time, instantly, right away, like, oh, I want this like roller, face roller. Boom, order it, get it right away. But is that necessarily like, is it good? Is it a good thing? Like at one point, does it take away the gratitude of the gift? Does it take away the gratitude of the exchange? Does it take away the gratitude of you being able to buy yourself something? Because for me, when I shop, like I shop because I'm like, oh, I desire this, and it makes me feel good to have it. So why do you shop? Like, why do you buy the things you buy? Like, what, and is it because, it is just that one feeling of like, oh, it feels good in the moment and then it goes away? For me, it's more, I get it. And then I'm like, oh my God, I'm wearing these pants that I bought and I'm wearing them again and they're so comfy and I'm so happy I bought this. Like every time I use something I bought, I'm like, oh, it feels good. Because I'm slowing down. I'm slowing down and like how to, buy things for myself. I'm slowing down. I don't need to have it all right away. I don't need to get everything instantly. And so with this list that I create this list of things I desire. And I remember once throwing juicer on there. I was like, I want to have a juicer. Juicers are over $100. And I remember when I was volunteering at the food bank during the time when I was going through, actually, like literally during the time when I was going through the housing situation, not having a home, somebody came and donated a free juicer. And I was like, can I have it? They're like, yeah, totally. Like, have it. This juicer has been on my desire list, like of things I want on my phone for a year. So sometimes it comes to you instantly. When you manifest the things you want, you put it on your list. Sometimes it'll come to you instantly. And then other times it takes a year. Other times it takes 5. Other times it takes 3 months. The universe doesn't work on a time frame. And so another example was today, which is what inspired me to talk about this, is that I got my Reiki certification level 1 in November and then level 2 in January. And since then, like since level 2, I was like, okay, I would like to have a massage table so that my clients won't be on their couch or my bed. Like I've had like 2-3 clients that I've done on on their bed or on my bed, and it's been good. It's not the end of the world, but it's good for practicing. But I would like to be a little bit more professional and have a massage table. And also the massage table allows me to do house calls a little bit more comfortably instead of like doing house calls and then asking them like, oh, would you be comfortable if we do it on your bed or couch? At least this is more professional. And I remember I was thinking and I was looking and I had found one on Amazon I liked, and I was like, okay, cool, like make a note of that. And then I remember I received some money in February and I was like, oh, like maybe I'll buy it. But there was something intuitively that told me, don't get it just yet. Don't get it just yet. And I was like, okay. Like just trusting the process. And I think the one that I had found on Amazon was $150. And then I kind of forgot about it. It's on my list, but I'm like, you know what? When I get it, it's meant to be like that. I'm going to have the money and it's going to feel right and it's going to work out. And I do this with a lot of my purchases. I'm very much like, if I'm meant to have it, I'm meant to have it. But then when it comes into my world, I'm very quick and I'm like, oh, here it is. Here's the opportunity. I have the money. Let's get it. But the from the moment it goes on my list of something I desire, or in my mind of something I desire, I trust. I trust, I sit back and I don't jump on it right away. And so I'm sitting back, and then all of a sudden this morning, I literally look on Facebook and there's a woman selling a massage table in Whistler for $65. She's like barely used. I think she used it maybe once or twice. Message her. I was like, is it still available? She's like, yeah. I'm like, cool. Can I come at lunch? She's like, yeah. I was like, wow, done. I went, I got it, and here it is. I would have never fathomed that I would spend $65 for a massage table. Like that's not something I thought that would have. I was planning on spending 150, like, because that's like on the lowest range. There's like some massage tables that go for 300, 400 plus, plus, plus. And so what I'm trying to share with you in this is that everything can come to you in a different way. And if you are someone that makes instantaneous purchase, especially if you have buyer's remorse, especially after you make the purchase, there's a regret. Start paying attention to your spending habits. Start paying attention to how you buy things, and start paying attention to how you desire things. Like, when you desire something, do you go right away and buy it? Like, or are you waiting? What do you do? And just sit and observe it. First, you want to observe it. You want to observe how you navigate it all. Because like if you're going to start changing certain habits of yourself or certain mindsets around spending money and everything, before you change it, you need to be aware of how you are navigating and who you are with it. So observe. For right now, observe, take a note, journal, like, how do you spend? What is your relationship with spending money? How do you, how are you able to receive gifts? Do you like receiving gifts? Is there a resistance? Why is there resistance? Or if there's a resistance to spending, why is there a resistance in spending? Are you somebody who do you calculate everything? Are you always calculating your pennies, and why? Why is there? And check in with yourself. Like you want to start off and check in, where is it coming from? A place of lack or negativity. And that's where you want to start. So, if you are somebody who is counting their pennies because you don't want to be broke, then that is coming from a place of lack. If you never get yourself any gifts and you're not spending because you don't think you deserve it, or you don't think you're worthy of having your your own things that you love, ask yourself, why do you feel like you're unworthy? Why is that coming up? And where is that coming from? Other examples can be, if you are spending it right away, like why are you buying the thing right away? Do you think that it's because it's something you can never have, that it's going to go away if you don't buy it in that moment? And I know that it can be a big thing for a lot of people, especially like certain like clothing companies or certain brands, if they do offer this like limited edition and really creating that, you can only have this now and then it's going to go away. Like I remember when I used to work for Lululemon, like whenever it was something new, it's not so much now, but it was more so back years ago, like 10 years ago, like something new. Like if you didn't get that color right away, then boom, it's gone instantly. Like they don't make more. Now it's a little different. It's not as much as that as it used to be. But is that a fear? Is that a fear? And then, but check in with yourself and be like, well, wait, do you have that anywhere else? Like if you feel like you don't act on something, if you feel like you can't have something, I feel like it's going to go away and that you'll never have the opportunity to have it again, or you'll never have the opportunity to get it again. Or, like if you are spending money, is it coming from a place of like, you're getting it for the sake of getting it, and not necessarily for like actually desiring it, or feel like that is something like that is bringing you joy, that is exciting you. And when it comes to receiving gifts, like if you don't want to receive gifts because you don't feel like you deserve gifts, check in, ask yourself why. Why is all this popping up? And so these are different ways that you can like tap into for you to just start reflecting on your spending and your trust within yourself and also your own worthiness, because you are worthy. I believe, like Amanda Frances said, you are born worthy. Like nobody, you didn't come into this world and somebody says, okay, now that Julie came into this world, and so you are designed from this moment forward that you are no longer worthy. Nobody said that. Nobody, like, everybody is worthy. Everybody is, doing their very best. Everybody is worthy of things. And so you can like kind of start playing around with that. And if you want to play around with manifestation, put it out into like, write it on your phone, write it in your journal. What are some things you desire? Even the small things, like play around with it. You can play around with big purchases, like a TV, a new TV, for example. And then you could play around with like the smaller purchases, like this nail polish color that you want, or I don't know, a grocery item or something, anything. Like you could just play around with like, what are some things you desire? And instead of going to pause and surrender, and instead of going to get it right away, see what happens. Play with it. Like it's just a matter of like, just trying it out and see what happens. And I'm not saying like it's gonna, sometimes, yeah, something could come into your world within 24 hours and be like, boom, like here it is as a gift, here it is for free, here it is found at the corner, side of the road. Or sometimes it might be 3 months, 6 months, maybe a year, maybe 5. The length of how long you decide to like surrender for, I don't want to say wait, because if you're putting yourself in the waiting energy, you'll always be waiting, but it is more surrendering to allow it to come in. Obviously, there's going to be a period where you're going to know, you're going to trust yourself. You're going to know, you're like, okay, surrender for this amount of time. Haven't seen it popped up. I feel called to purchasing it online now. So what happens if you just surrender to it and see what happens? So if you enjoy this episode, please like, share, comment, subscribe. I appreciate all of it. I appreciate all the likes, all the subscriptions. I love you all, and thank you so much. If you do desire to tap into working with me, I do work with manifestation in my one-to-one. When I do the inner child healing shadow work, we tap into that because I like throwing those fun things of manifestations, vision, and goals along the side of the inner child healing and shadow work, because it's a lightness. It's like it's the feel good stuff. It's the fun stuff. Inner child healing and shadow work, it's so heavy, so I throw that in. So if you like that kind of blend, if you feel called for it, feel free to send me a message. Check out my website. Find me on Instagram. My website is juliesunknown.com. My Instagram is juliesunknown. And that's basically it. So thank you so much. And I hope you have yourself a lovely day, evening, wherever you are in the world. And I will see you next time.